All right, what's up, y'all? I'm heading home from work. We had a UFC fight night. Sergi pulled an armbar, is my understanding. I didn't really get to watch. Danny Barlow was about 45 minutes from where I'm at. He is now 9-0, I believe, undefeated. A little bit of fun insight on that. Danny, one of the hardest moments in the MMA happened because of Danny for me. He fought my coach on his come up, and Danny scored a knockout, and that really sucked. No hate on Danny. That's just that. I think you guys get what I'm saying. But I want to talk about something random. I want to talk about what I'm going to call the money problem in MMA. Now, we're not going to talk about there is a money problem in the sense of fighters not getting paid enough. That's not what I'm wanting to talk about. Really, I almost want to call it the Conor problem, but I'm going to label it the money problem. But Conor is a good example of it. So, do y'all remember when, and I think it was about a year ago, I think it was last summer, maybe longer. Anyways, Dana straight up said Conor could walk back into a title fight. Like, Conor's comeback fight could be a title fight, even coming off of the loss to Dustin. And he didn't explain this reasoning, but the reason is because he sells tickets. Conor has all the records for the most selling gates, and then he broke his own record on a pre-sale for the gate with Chandler. And so because of that, they just put these people at the top, man. It's kind of, I don't know, it's something I don't like about MMA. And it's kind of one of the problems. I feel like this is probably something that happened in boxing early on too. I could be wrong. But this idea of we're just going to reward people on their entertainment value instead of athletic performance is crazy. So, like Demetrius Johnson being traded off as an... Do I even need to explain that? Like, Demetrius Johnson is one of the GOATs. He just gets ignored because of this small weight division. And they traded him for Ben Askren. Is that not crazy? Then you got like Colby Covington's story. Colby, I don't think he had lost. He had definitely won several in a row, like 6, 7 in a row. And then he says the UFC was going to drop him because he was bored. So then that's when he came out there and he's like, Brazil's a dump or whatever he said. That was the start of that. And then Conor's example isn't just him getting a comeback for a title shot. He got handed the opportunity to be the first double champ. Never had to defend a belt, while Anderson Silva was having to work his way up the years prior, when Anderson Silva was a much, like... When people think of Conor's so popular because of his entertainment, and Conor was lethal. The Conor that fought Eddie and Chad, and the first Dustin and Max, that Conor was lethal. And Jose, that was lethal. Anderson Silva was like 5 times more lethal than that Conor. Like, and it's crazy to me that so many people now, constantly going through cycles of people, they don't know anything about Silva. Like, they know his name, they've seen a knockout or two. You never are going to really get to understand the greatness when you weren't there. But it's absolute BS. Anderson Silva didn't get stuck like Roy Jones Jr. couldn't sell a freaking fight. Even though he could have been the greatest. And he probably was the greatest, and he just couldn't sell the tickets like Tyson or something. So we remember Tyson and everything. Silva was so outstanding that even though he couldn't speak or sell a fight worth of crap, his skills carried him. Something that John Jones couldn't do. I always wonder what Silva's... No, I don't. I was about to say, I wonder what Silva's legacy would be without, like, Chael Sonnen, but no, I don't. Because I was already huge on Silva. Chael just amplified it. Chael brought so much more attention to Anderson. Oh, what a time to be alive that was. But anyways, let's get back on track. So if I hadn't said it clearly, basically if you are entertaining in the UFC, you can just speed rush to the top. You don't have to win a bunch of fights. You don't have to win your last fight to get a title shot if you are entertaining, if people will buy a ticket to see you. And I feel like that's wrong. I can understand why we would do that early on. Like when you're having to establish your revenue and everything as a business and everything, and they were so much in debt and blah, blah, blah. I get it. The company sold 3 times now. Like, it doesn't make sense. And that goes back. So now, within the past like 3 days, I've gotten 55,000 views. Prior to that, I had like 5,000 views. So, some information you might not know that I've shared over this past year is how I feel like the UFC is actually in a financial bind. And I feel like them continuing to do this money problem where they will put whoever's popular in a title shot is more proof of that. Especially with as adamant as Dana White was on the corruption in boxing and wanting to do the opposite of boxing when he started out, and he still talks about it today. I mean, just a couple months ago, he went on an interview tour. Every interview's got to ask him the same. They all ask him the same questions, and he talks about all the things that were wrong in boxing. Well, now he is not putting the best 2 fighters in there anymore. I mean, we still have it. Don't get me wrong. It still occurs. But the fact that these people can bypass is just crazy. And it's also creating a problem in the sense of we don't know who deserves the title shot. Like, it's not... Maybe we need to come up with some sort of rules or something, but I don't really know if we could. But so, like, when we look at 185 right now, that whole situation, oh my gosh. All right, so Israel Adesanya had the belt. Israel was building up a feud with Duplessis. Duplessis was offered the fight with Israel and turned it down for whatever reason. Injury, whatever. I don't even think it was injury. I think he just turned that down. So they gave it to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland beats the dog crap out of Izzy, which no one expected except for me. I predicted that, and my video is still there. The day that fight was announced, I was on YouTube, and I told y'all Sean Strickland could beat Izzy. Just say it. No, when I say no one expected Sean to win, like the UFC didn't expect Sean to win, they expected Israel to win. So then when Israel would win, at your next pay-per-view, which was going to be UFC 300, Israel versus Dricus du Plessis, with a huge, hot, steaming rivalry that involved Africa and racism and everything that would have the media talking about it. Then when Israel lost, du Plessis got a shot at Strickland. I still think Strickland won that fight, but they gave it to du Plessis. Then Israel didn't want to fight. So now we've got du Plessis as a champ. Israel, who just lost to Sean Strickland in his most recent fight, is now getting a shot at du Plessis when Sean Strickland arguably beat du Plessis, absolutely dogged Israel, and then he just fought. Who did he just fight? Who did he just freaking fight? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Paulo Costa, sorry. So, Sean's already getting screwed. And I don't think this one isn't quite the same, because either of these matchups work with Israel. But the fact that it's Israel getting the shot is where it's kind of all haywired. Like, if Izzy turned that fight down, Izzy should have to wait. If Sean was ready to fight and Duplessis was ready to fight, it should be Sean and Duplessis. Like, plain and simple. Israel turned it down. Just like when Duplessis turned it down, they put Sean in. But no, Israel's the popular guy that can sell the ticket off either one of them, so he gets the shot. It's not fair, and it's absolute chaos. And a champion isn't a champion then. So like all this crap where people are frustrated with John Jones because John Jones has a booked title fight against who people say is the GOAT of the heavyweights, which that's arguable. And people are mad he's not fighting this other heavyweight that's only been around for 2 or 3 years. Like, trust me, if John sticks around, he's going to fight Tom. If Tom keeps winning, Tom has a lot to prove. But there is no question about John being the heavyweight champion. Someone could say, oh, he was inactive because of that injury. Listen, he didn't not beat the right people. I don't know how else to explain that. I know he got handed that title shot, but he accepted it with anyone. Wasn't the first title shot going to be when Cyril Gane was a replacement? Was that first one was it going to be Stipe? And then Stipe got hurt, and he had to take Cyril Gane. Do I have that right? Anyways, there's not any, even with Tom Aspinall having the interim belt and John Jones having the undisputed belt, there's not really, I get how fans are like, oh, it should be Tom in there. It's because of the length, because of the injuries. But no one's out here like, John's not the real champ. Like, you can't honestly have that perspective and be taken serious. Where I can, and many can have that perspective on Duplessis right now. Like, there are a lot of people that legitimately think Sean beat him. And even the scorecards were close, so like, it is what it is. But I guess, so looking back on this whole video, maybe I shouldn't have called it the money problem. Maybe I should have called it the popularity problem. But the idea that just because someone can sell tickets, they're gonna get sped to the top. It's not right. It's not fair. And what's crazy is they do it opposite on the regional scene a lot of the times. Like, there's a kid in my area. I don't know him that well. I've been in a couple training sessions, so I don't like saying people's names. But anyways, he's undefeated. He's gone pro now. He's undefeated as a pro. And I don't know, man. I feel like he had 8 undefeated fights before he got a shot at a belt as an amateur. I could be wrong on all that. I could be totally wrong on all that. But I would have sworn I was at a couple of his fights, and I mean, the kid's popular. Like, the whole place is blowing up for him. He's got a big family and all this. And it's like, they just put him in, unless the promotion's protecting their champion or something. I don't get it. I didn't get that, but I'm just now kind of thinking of that. On the regional scene, it's a little bit different. But yeah, in the UFC, I think we all kind of know, hopefully I did a good job of explaining it, but your popularity can overpower or override your skills, which I think is bogus. I think MMA is heading in the direction of boxing if we don't do something, put our foot down fast between all these judges with bad rulings that are blatantly wrong. And this popularity concept, a couple other things, but let me know your thoughts on it. Video went a little long, but this is the War Lab. If you made it this far, like and subscribe. I mean, good Lord, happy to have you. Big time players make big time plays. I do big things every round, baby.